What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a new video. If you're new around here, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. And yet again, I'd like to apologize about the mic situation. My Blue Yeti Nano X microphone is not picking up sound, even though it's plugged in. But regardless, the show's still going to continue. I'm just using my webcam mic for now, until I get that mic fixed. So, with that being said, we are going to be doing a house map prediction today. Yes, nobody's done a house prediction in gosh knows how long, and we're going to be doing one today. We're going to be going to the state of Alaska to begin things. There's nothing in Alabama that's worth talking about. And in Alabama, because of ranked choice voting, I do not see Peltola losing until that is taken care of. Yes, she's not very popular, but as long as ranked choice voting continues to exist, those people need to just keep putting down Peltola as their second choice in order to win. And that's why we got to get rid of ranked choice voting if Republicans want to actually have a shot in Alaska. Moving on to Arizona, we got only 2 seats worth talking about. We got Schweiker and Siscomani. I think both hold. This is Siscomani's first term, but Schweiker, he just keeps underperforming in the polls and then just comes out with a swamping victory. Given that Siscomani's the incumbent, I think he will win himself, but honestly, I'm not too 100% sure as of right now, but we will find out later on. We're going to go to California. Arkansas is not worth even talking about because it's all just safe Republican there. Anyway, we're going to talk about California's 13th. We've got John Duarte, who I think is going to win. I don't see why not. He's the incumbent now. He kind of outperformed the polling a little bit. We weren't really expecting that to happen. I mean, this could go either way. To be safe, we'll put it as tilt D. Valadeo, this guy's a jug. He always holds on. It's his second term. Same with Garcia. He always finds a way to overperform by like 6 or 7 points. Same goes for Calvert. Even though this is a Trump district, it's probably going to move more right in the next Congress. And California's 47th. This is Porter's seat. Porter is retiring for the U.S. Senate. This could be a potential flip, but as of right now, I don't see it happening. So that's that. And we are going to move on to Colorado, where we got a couple of seats worth talking about. We got Colorado 3rd with Lauren Boebert, who's thankfully moving to the 4th district. She will be a great congresswoman in the 4th district. I can't wait to see what she does there. But anyway, we have to talk about, I think the 3rd district will stay Republican. But the 8th district, this is really a tricky one. This one's really hard to know what's going to happen because Carveo only won the district by 0.7. Given the year we're talking about, and given that there's going to be a rightward shift, if all of the polls that we have seen that have come out today or yesterday as you're watching this video happen to be correct, we are expecting a major rightward shift. I don't know where I'm going to put this, but to be safe, tilt D. We're going to now move on to Florida, where we have a couple of seats that we need to talk about. Corey Mills, Darren Soto, Anna Polina Luna, Laurel Lee, Gerald Moskowitz, and Maria Salazar are all worth talking, are all pretty much safe in their seats, because Florida, we know how Florida's moving. We all know what's going to happen. It's going to continue to go further right. Republicans have a really strong chance at holding on these, even though Laurel Lee kind of came in on the DeSantis wedge a little bit, because DeSantis won her area by a lot. That's not really a shocker to me. And same goes for Luna. So Florida, there's not too much worth talking about. Nothing talking about here. Nothing here. Nothing here. Illinois, this is a state that's just gerrymandered. We could have had some more flips. Republicans could have flipped more, but Democrats just gerrymandered their way into these seats. This one, Illinois 17th, used to be held by a Republican until they gerrymandered him out of the seat. So we're going to leave that as tilt D for now. It's going to push further right. So at the end of the day, I think it'll be like D plus 1, D plus 1.5. I don't see like it's going to be horribly Democratic, but we'll have to wait and see. Indiana 1st District. This district is going to trend right. But if Republicans wanted to switch this, they could have Just like how Democrats are gerrymandering themselves seats in Illinois, we need to start. Republicans could gerrymander themselves in this state and in like red states and say it's fair. And I honestly could say the same thing. Iowa, there's nothing here. Same with Kansas. There's really not much that we're talking about until we get to Maine, which I'm not really going to sugarcoat this. Maine uses ranked choice voting, but given that it's a presidential year, Trump's going to win the district by quite a bit. Jared Golden had some very controversial comments when it came to gun laws and a whole bunch of other controversies surrounding the third-term congressman. We're going to put this one at tilt Republican, and you will most likely than not see this state go, or this, not this state, but this district go down the wire, and you'll likely see Jared Golden finally fall off. He's the only true moderate from the Democrat caucus, so it'd be unfortunate to lose him. We're going to go right on to Maryland. There's really nothing to see here. Neil Parrott, he's part of the Freedom Caucus. We'll have to see if the seat will be winnable. I can't really make I will have to say it will not flip for now. And the reason being is we don't know how much it's going to shift rightward. And it was a 9.6 victory last time for Trone. Neil Parrott might pull off an upset. This is her third bid on for the House. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think she will pull it off, so we're going to leave it the way it is. Massachusetts, nothing. We have Michigan. It's only where John James is going to hold on, so that's not the seat we're going to be talking about. We're talking about 8th and 7th. 7th is Slotkin, 8th is Kildee. Both of which seats are going to trend right and seats that Biden barely won in the 2020 election. Given that Slotkin was kind of an electoral jug in this seat, you can't really say that it's going to move. I think the district's going to move right altogether. You could say this could be a flip, but I don't see this one being a flip, the 8th, just yet. We don't have many polls out of the 8th district, so we really don't know. John James, as I said, he's going to hold on. I don't see why he doesn't. I mean, I would want somebody else in that seat because John James is kind of a weak Republican. He's not really that effective at doing much of anything. I know he threw a big fit when Jim Jordan ran for Speaker, so that's partially that. Minnesota, the only one that we're talking about is Angie Craig. This one's kind of a mixed one. I don't know exactly how this one's going to go, but we'll leave this one as lean Democrat for now. Ilhan Omar, if you live in Minnesota, your primary is this Tuesday. You got open primaries. Let's vote out Ilhan Omar in mass numbers and get her out. We can get another squad member out. So let's do it. But aside from that, there aren't any other competitive races this year in Minnesota. Missouri, this one gets a little bit complicated. Cori Bush lost her primary, so that's good. I don't need any more Cori Bushes in there. Ann Wagner, she's the only real competitive seat. I mean, I don't see her losing, especially because she won by 11.9. That's a little bit more than a safe margin. That's more than a safe margin, but it's not a solid margin, unlike the rest of these other guys here. So, aside from her, I definitely don't think what's going to happen is definitely going to be interesting. We'll have to watch these races because I really don't know. Montana, there's not really much to talk about. Now, people might call me crazy here, but I honestly think Don Bacon's going to lose. I think he's going to lose to Tony Vargas. One, he had a competitive primary, and two, he's just not well liked. He's basically like the Tea Party congressman, I can't remember his name, and then Dan Fry absolutely destroyed him in the primary, so he fractured all unity against him, and he did the same with Don Bacon, so I think Don Bacon is done, and Tony Vargas will have the seat for 2 years till hopefully Fry will run again. That's the only hope we have. Nevada, the only seat here that I really see flipping is the 3rd. So we're going to put that as tilt Republican. I know they're doing a major voter roll cleanup in Clark County, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really help that out. Nevada 2nd, I would have liked to replace him with somebody more based because we definitely can. But he carries like the Reno area, so that's like the best you're going to get that will be able to carry Reno. But aside from that, there's not much worth talking about in Nevada. New Hampshire, nothing worth talking about here. New Jersey, I think Keene is going to hold on. That's the only competitive seat worth talking about here. He barely won, but that was because of his last name. I think he barely wins yet again. It depends. Hopefully Trump doesn't drag him down, but it depends on what happens in New Jersey at the top of the ticket, whether or not he wins or loses. Same goes for New Mexico. However, this state is gerrymandered to hell. Unfortunately, the 2nd district is gerrymandered. I know Yvette Harrell is running against Gabriel Vasquez, but I don't think it's going to be enough for her to win. She does this weird thing where she loses in midterm years, and then she wins again in presidential years. So if that trend continues, she'll win. But if it doesn't, she'll lose. So we're going to put that at the winning for her. We're going to put that as a loss for the Democrats for now, because of that previous trend we have seen in New Mexico's 2nd congressional district. And we're going to be getting into some more territory where we're going to have to show some polls here in a little bit. New York, we definitely have some races that are worth talking about, so I'm going to pull some polls up so we can take a look at exactly what we're talking about. So the district everybody is going to be talking about is definitely the 4th district when it comes down to what is going on here between Anthony D'Esposito and Laura Gillen. If we look at the only poll that's been released, D'Esposito is up by 7. I don't know whether or not to believe it, but at the end of the day, I do see this as a district that Trump will do better in, and then D'Esposito outruns a little bit, especially because Zeldin carried this area to victory in 2022. So that was definitely a big one. And then we have Lawler in the 17th district, which from last time I looked, we didn't have any polling, and now we have polling. So that's one thing. It's a Democrat internal. It's a margin of error of 5.7. So that seat could go either way. But I could also see the 22nd, that's the wrong seat. I don't. It's the 19th. We're going to look at the 19th here. Mark Molinaro is the incumbent Republican for this district. And based on the current polling, we don't have a margin of error, so I'll just use my own margin of error of about 4. Mark Molinaro, no matter which way you try to spin it, he's up in the polls. The only poll that's out. But it's also a small sample, so we really don't know what's going to happen. But the way I will put it is we are going to put this as... We are going to put these races... Anthony D'Esposito, we're going to put that as till R. Michael Lawler, till R. Then we're going to put Mark Molinaro as till R as well. So we should hold on to the New York Republicans by far, even though that they're not very good. North Carolina's first. This is the only one worth talking about. This one solely comes down to how well Trump does in the district, but will it be enough to carry him, to carry Buckhout over the finish line? I'm going to put that as no for now, because I haven't seen much polling from that, so that's going to be another hold for the Democrats. North Dakota, there's nothing here. Ohio, there's a couple of worth ones talking about. The biggest one is definitely Ohio 9th. We don't have the disaster of J.R. Majewski yet again, and yes, he was a horrible candidate. I'm glad he decided not to run, or to get the nomination. I know he ran for a little bit, but then he dropped out. And Derek Merrin's the new candidate, and this could possibly be a flip. It seems like Merrin's running a solid campaign. This is another seat that's going to come down to how well Trump does in the district, given that Trump won it by 2.9 in 2020, or the area in 2020. I'm assuming it's going to shift to the right, given what we've seen out of Ohio, but we'll have to wait and see. For now, I'm putting this as tilt Democrat. Same goes for the 13th. I don't see how Republicans will flip that unless Democrats just absolutely bum in the district at the top of the ticket, which could always happen. Oklahoma, there's nothing there. Oregon, the 5th district. This one's a hard one. I don't know if Chavez DeRemer will hold, but for now, we will just say she does. But I don't see her winning. I don't see Trump losing the district by 6, and then DeRemer outrunning her by that same amount. You're definitely going to have cross-vote splitting. This is one that's going to be interesting to watch. I definitely don't know what's going to happen, so don't take my word for it. This could go either way, but it's going to be a tilt margin or a toss-up by about 2 or so points. Pennsylvania, we got some interesting races to cover here. Brian Fitzpatrick, he just constantly holds on. He's in a Biden district. He holds on easily. Susan Wild, I do think that she will, depending on what Trump does in the district, if Trump somehow wins the district by a lot, I do think that Susan Wild will go down, but at this point, I don't see it. We're going to put that as tilt Democrat. Matt Cartwright, he's an electoral jug. We're going to put that as tilt D as well. Why are we in Massachusetts? Okay. Rhode Island, there's nothing here either. South Carolina, there's nothing here either. Tennessee, nothing. I don't really think there's much talking about in Texas, aside from Texas 34th. I mean, Vincenzo Gonzalez, he tries to portray himself as a moderate, but really we don't know what happened. And regarding what's going on with Cuellar, with all of the bribery and all that other stuff, we're going to have to wait and see. Vincenzo Gonzalez is also another one to see. I don't think Vincenzo Gonzalez goes down, especially at this time. We'll have to watch that, though. It's gonna be a close race, that's for sure, especially with Trump at the top of the ticket. Utah, nothing here either. We have some races worth talking about in Virginia. I mean, there's really not much worth talking about. The 7th district, this is being vacated by Spanberger, Abigail Spanberger. She's running for governor in 2025. This one's going to be interesting. This could go either way, but I think this is going to be a tilt D, especially because Spanberger always overperforms, which I'm honestly which I'm not surprised about by the slightest. We'll have to watch that district and see, though. Jen Kiggins, she's going to hold on. I don't see why she doesn't. She won by about 4 points last time, or 3.4 points to be exact last time. We'll have to wait and see. The candidate that's running against Vindman in Spanberger is Derek Anderson. I don't even live in Virginia, and I've been getting ads for Eugene Vindman, so that's definitely a sign that Democrats are worried about that race. Now we're going to talk about Washington, and this is where things get juicy here. This is where the juiciness begins. Dan Newhouse is going up against Jared Sessler. If you live in Washington 4th, vote for Sessler on Election Day. I don't know what else to tell you. Just get it done. So we're going to pull up the Washington... polling. We're going to talk about the 3rd district, because the 3rd district has been going either way. We really don't know what's going to happen here. The polling that we've seen has Kent up by 1. That was a Democrat internal, and then another one that had them tied. But if you look at something, the polling for the first poll, the polling from the Democrat internal, had a 9% undecided rate. Joe Kent was up by 1. But in the other one, where the undecided amount was larger, they were tied. So if the trend is correct, the undecideds, I imagine, will slowly but surely break for Kent. And given the fact that Trump is on the ballot this time around, he will carry Joe Kent across the finish line, and he will get to Washington. It's a Trump plus 4.2 district anyway. Most likely moves right. I don't see why not, especially considering that Joe Kent is a Trump-endorsed candidate. He will likely prevail. Now, the final state to talk about is Wisconsin. There's not much really worth talking about here. There's Derek Van Orden and Brian Steele. I think both hold on. I wouldn't mind if Van Orden lost. I don't think he will, but we'll have to wait and see. That seat is very hard to, he won that in, a really interesting circumstance. I didn't even think he was going to win that seat in 2022, but he ended up pulling through for whatever reason. Well, anyways, that is the map for the presidential election, or not the presidential election, but the House of Representatives. If you take a look here, 224 seats to Democrats 211. I think I'm being rather fair here. Republicans have a net gain of about 2 seats. We'll have to wait for more polling to show up, but anyway, this is the map that you can expect. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.